So welcome to March, month of March, and our coaching clinic today is a fresh start in your life and business. And I just felt really inspired to offer this subject. Well, for a couple of reasons. One, I was just feeling like, oh, there's that energy of spring in the air. And, I'm hopeful that March and moving onwards from March ushers in that kind of spring energy for us all. And then secondly, a dear friend of mine lost his daughter to cancer. She's only 20 years old. And I was just so touched by her bravery and her ability to just navigate life. And it just inspired me to remember, as long as we're still breathing, we have the potential for a fresh start in any moment. And so I just felt really inspired to offer this subject. And hopefully in today's session, you will hear something that allows for your own personal resurrection, allows for a deeper clarity or a deeper knowing in yourself as to what you're all about and what you're here to contribute in the world. And most of all, just hopefully you'll get a sense of renewed spirit. I think that's really where the game changes, is when we move from hopeless to hopeful, when we move from dispirited to full of spirit and enthusiasm, and that being, an experience of our true nature, an experience of who we really are beyond all the thinking that we live with on a regular basis. So to start with, I do like to start us off with a gentle grounding meditation. And this one will be specifically a guided download, if you like, that is specific to a fresh start. So if there's something on your mind, if there's an area in your life that you could really use a new beginning in, let this visualization support you. And just know that the serum is going in, even though you might not initially experience some dramatic change. The serum is going in and it's penetrating and it's working. Just let yourself receive the magic, receive this healing balm. So let's close our eyes and just begin to breathe in your own timing, in your own way. I personally like to do in for 4, hold, and out for 4. Being in the silence together and just becoming aware of the breath, slowing it down. If it helps, you can do the count with me where you're breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold, and out, 2, 3, 4, hold, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, and out, 2, 3, 4, hold. Let yourself just sink into the chair or the sofa or the bed, wherever you are. Becoming aware of the breath. Noticing without judgment the weight of your body and wherever you're sitting or lying, supporting you and that weight. And now just see roots coming from your feet, down through the ground, down into the underground, right down to that rock at the bottom of the earth. Wrap those roots around that rock. See golden light emanating from the rock up through the roots, through the underground, the ground, and up in through the floorboards into your feet. This beautiful golden healing light. Let's set intention now as we call on our spiritual support network and whomever or whatever you have an affinity or a connection with, that as we leverage this light and allow this light to move through us, that it would usher in a fresh start, a new beginning. See the light moving through the soles of your feet, into the ankles, up through your calves and your shins, into the kneecaps, up through the back of the thighs and the front of the thighs, right up into the spine and into the hip bones. On up now through the spine and through the front of the body, right up to the throat, up to the back of the neck, up through the face, and up through the back of the head until the light meets each other at the top of the head. Now see the light swishing down the left side of the head and the hair and down through the left shoulder, the left arm, the left hand, and out through the left fingers. And down through the right side of the head and down through the right shoulder and into the right arm and all the way down to the right hand and out through the right fingers until you're completely enveloped in this healing elixir of golden light, the light of our true nature. Now in your mind's eye, ahead of you is a golden path. Let yourself step up onto that path. As you walk along this path, notice the beauty of nature around you. And up ahead of you, you can notice a beautiful stream. Allow yourself to go to that stream now. And as you reach the stream, just take in the beauty of flow, how the water is flowing downstream, effortlessly, easily. Place in the stream any area that you have been battling upstream with, any situation that has felt heavy or like a struggle, or just where there hasn't been flow. And watch that situation moving beautifully through the stream, following the flow of water, being cleansed as it goes. Receive the flow of the stream and let flow become your experience in life. We ask, dear Spirit, that each person here would experience a fresh beginning, a flow like this water, downstream rather than upstream. That any situation would be transformed to one of greater ease and greater clarity. That a new beginning would be born as a result of what is experienced today. That renewed hope and fresh energy would be ushered in as each participant listens and hears what he or she needs to hear and sees what he or she needs to see. Give us all a fresh start in the areas that we've been holding on to too strongly. Release all stubbornness, all need to effort, and all holding on and any gripping to any situation where we feel fearful or stressed or like it's up to us. Thank you for this fresh beginning. Amen. And just receive that blessing and feel your heart lighten. Give yourself the gift of just knowing how well loved you are. Give yourself the gift of seeing your own innocence. That you would try an effort with something that really just needs placed in God's hands. Now letting the stream continue to do her thing, you can come back onto the golden path, knowing that your situation is taken care of. And let yourself walk along the path, once again taking in the beauty of the nature, the sun shining, a gentle breeze. And as you walk along the path, up ahead of you is a little white gate. Go towards the gate now. And as you open it, you step down into this moment. Gently move your feet, move your fingers. Coming back into this experience, into this clinic. Becoming aware of your body once more. Without judgment, without analyzing. And see those roots coming from your feet, down through the ground, down into the underground, right down to that rock at the bottom of the earth. Wrap those roots around that rock and feel yourself grounded and present to this moment. And slowly, when you feel ready, just begin to come back by opening your eyes, doing anything you need to do, drinking some water, moving your fingers, whatever feels right for you. So I hope you could somewhat feel a little bit of a lifting through that. I never quite know what's going to come out, but I always trust that whatever has come through is what's meant to have come through. And if you feel just even a little bit lighter after this call, just know that that is enough for now, that your true self is stirring. I want to share just a little bit about a fresh start, a new beginning. And then I want to make this relevant to your situation, to you, by opening up and just hearing from you and being interactive. Um, there's a couple of things that I see as being helpful when we're really low on a situation, or we just really feel hopeless or can't see a way forward. And what's been particularly helpful is A, not taking it personally, and B, realizing that it's a state of mind. It's not indicative of your future. Sometimes we don't realize how exhausted we are mentally. And our feeling state is there as a love letter. I think Bill Pettit calls it a love letter. But our feeling state is there as a love letter to let us know what's happening here mentally. So see, I used to get really hopeless about my business. I wouldn't see a way forward. I couldn't see a direction until I understood that those feelings didn't mean anything about my business or my future in business. Those feelings meant I was really in a low state of mind. So that, for some reason, that helped me stop taking things personally. And what I would do is I would kind of just let myself off the hook and go take my mind off business. Go put my mind on something more less heavy. That has served me well over the years. Because I think without understanding that the role of thought was at work, I think if I hadn't understood that, I might have given up a lot of times. So the first thing I want to share about a fresh start is if it's not feeling fresh right now, whatever your situation or whatever area, It's a sign that your state of mind has dropped. It's not a sign that you need to give up, that your future's hopeless, that nothing's ever going to turn around for you. It's an invitation to take care of your mind. When you really see that, you can kind of just be okay with whatever state you're in. You kind of fall out of analyzing your situation and you start to feel an inch better. That's very helpful to know that what's really going on is a state of mind issue, not a health issue, not a business issue, not a money issue, not a love issue, not a grief issue, a low state of mind. How do we move up the elevator of consciousness to a higher state of mind? We get as well rested as we can mentally. Not talking about hours and hours of sleep, although that can really help people with their mind. We get as well rested mentally as we can. We relax into life. We do things we enjoy. The second thing that I have seen as deeply helpful for a fresh beginning is to ask for support. Now, humans can't always support us. Some can, but we have a spiritual support system, our SSS. For some of you, that support system might include a loved one. For some of you, that system might be a religious figure that you feel connected to. For some of you, that support system might just be in the form of life or the universe. Doesn't matter. Let's get in the habit of asking for that support in our time of need. I have found that when we drop and we're not experiencing any fresh hope, that kind of leads to yearning for improvement. Well, guess what? That's how well designed we are. That it is already built into the system. That we would feel hopeless or stuck or exhausted, and it would yield a yearning to feel better. That's how well designed we are. We are designed for well-being. It's built into the system. None of us come into this life and say, gosh, I hope I feel better or worse by the end of this. None of us wake up in the morning and say, geez, I hope I feel worse by the end of the day. No. Why is that? Because we all know inherently that our true nature is wellness. So this yearning to feel better is what springs forth when we feel crap. That's good news. Now let's take it another step. What if in our energetic yearning, we were to add words to that? What if we were to ask this spiritual support system with our words for a fresh start, for a personal resurrection? Being specific in our asking is so helpful. By now, most of you know that I just about ask for everything and anything because I've come to see that this consciousness is far more intelligent than my small mind, knows exactly what I need. And so asking can become a habit of ours. Asking for whatever it is we need, including a fresh start. You will find you're always asking because in your energetic yearning to feel better, you're asking. But boy, does it take it to a whole new level When we ask with our words for that fresh start, that personal resurrection. I was speaking to one of my clients the other day, and she was saying to me, but Grace, it doesn't come to me to ask. It only comes to me to ask when I'm really desperate for things. Well, that's okay. You know, good that it comes to ask when we're in a time of great need. But what about getting in the habit of asking regardless? And our asking can be as simple as, thank you for a fresh start in this area today. Thank you for showing me the way today. Thank you for guiding me with what to do about this today. Our asking can be about the minutiae of life, if that's the word, and it can be about the big things in life. But we want to somewhat see that there's only so much information we can receive or come to with our little mind. And yet with divine mind, this true self aspect of us, there's so much more on offer. And it is in our asking that we begin to receive our direction, our answers, our solutions. So some silly examples. I'm walking on the beach last week. I just came back from Florence. I was feeling pretty tired. I'd had a wonderful, good time, but I knew it was time to get back to my routine and my way of eating and my way of sort of taking care of self, you know? And I'm walking along the beach, and in my head, I'm thinking about, what should I eat for lunch? What's in my fridge? Okay, I'm thinking about what's in my fridge. I'm in my head about my fridge. Could do that, could do that, could do that. And then it occurs to me, oh, I don't know. I don't know what I should, well, I don't know what's going to make me feel better in this moment, this day, this lunchtime. Simple thing, simple, ordinary request. So I say, all right, spiritual team, show me or tell me what to have for lunch. And I just let go and I enjoy my walk. Now I'm driving later, I'm driving back up to my town, and the word lentils drops into my mind. Now, I'm not a massive fan, and I don't cook lentils, and I certainly didn't have time to cook lentils. But lentils drops in. Now, I couldn't have come up with that, and they sure weren't in my fridge. But I trusted what I heard. And luckily, I have a lovely store where they'll cook fresh legumes and fruit and veg. They do fruit and veg each day. So I go there wondering if they'll have lentils, knowing that that's the direction. And lo and behold, she's just made them, and they're warm and they're so yummy. And they were clearly the thing that I had to eat that day because I was satiated and it was comforting and it was cozy, and whatever it did, I was fine. Just a silly example of asking. My small mind couldn't come up with lentils. But see, divine mind has the answer and the exact way for you to receive that. In my case, the exact shop and the exact woman who had been up already making these lentils that day. That's how well loved we are. And it requires a little bit of getting out of the way and getting into the habit of asking. We can ask for a fresh start, a new beginning. We can be specific about how we want it to look, what we want it to do for us. We can use words that just resonate in that moment. Thank you that I get renewed inspiration in my business. Thank you that I feel more and more alive with my health today. Thank you for guiding me to the exact people, places, and products that can elevate my well-being. Thank you for guiding me to the ideal hotel for this particular stay, and that I get to meet lovely, warm, kind people along the way. Thank you that when I walk into the wine shop today, you are guiding me, Spirit, to the exact type of wine that would taste the most delicious and be the best price and give me the most joy that I could savor it. Thank you that my website gets fixed in rapid time with the best solution and the best provider. Thank you for lifting me from this veil of exhaustion, for soothing my grief, for alleviating my fear and my pain. I like to start my asking with thank you, because it is done. We're not begging, we're not being good girls or boys so that we can get spirit support. We're confident and certain in our asking. So these two things, recognizing when we're in a low state of mind, and then letting ourselves just go and find ways to relax and enjoy. One of our participants on Living Miraculously, she said, you know, I just go and I make kombucha. I think I'm going off and making too much kombucha. And what she didn't realize was, God, that's wisdom. When you're all caught up in your head, it occurs to you to go and make kombucha and your mind comes off of what you're worrying about. That's wisdom, right? Like recognizing when we're in a busy state of mind, a low state of mind, feeling hopeless, feeling defeated, feeling deflated, feeling uninspired, and letting ourselves go and just do whatever occurs in the moment, particularly if it's something that takes our mind right off of it. Making kombucha, walking our dog, lying and doing a Netflix binge, doesn't matter. And then asking specifically, come on now, thank you for my fresh start, my new beginning. And I thank you that it looks like this. Thank you that it includes that, being specific in our asking. That's how well loved we are. So I hope that you might get in the habit of gently seeing when that your feeling is alerting you to your state of mind, and getting in the habit of making your requests and demands for your fresh start or for anything that you are currently trying to figure out, that you get in the habit of asking and receiving. And that in doing so, in realizing these two pieces, you experience regular resurrections over and over and over again, where you are lifted up back into the lightness of being and the wellness that you really truly are when not lost in all that thinking in the mind. So I'd love to stop there. I think I've gone on a bit, but if there are some comments or questions or I'm not offended if you need to go and fall asleep. That does sometimes happen for people. But if there's anybody who wants to come on and just share, or if you'd like my support with something you're currently up against, like I can try my best. um, Angela, oh, lovely to see you. Come on. And yeah.
Hi Grace, lovely to see you. Um, yeah, it was so interesting when you talked about just the mind being in exhaustion. As soon as you hit the meditation, I was just in and out of sleep, and I knew that I needed to uh, just come on and sort of be in this space today and give myself the time. As you know, I lost my husband last year, and we're coming up to a year, and I'm really feeling at the moment quite a lot of exhaustion, a lot of grief, a lot of lack of clarity as to my own way forward. The identity shift feels quite massive for me. Um, and yet, things that have happened during the year have shocked me as to how life has rolled out certain things for me. Um, my health has improved. I lost over a stone in weight and reversed diabetes, met a new partner. But the one sticking place for me has been around ways forward in business. I think after Paul passed away, there was a sense of trying to prove to my dead husband that I could manage without him and go back into work into the same in the same manner, realizing very much by about September that that was not the way forward for me. And then it was almost like the leaves started falling off. I started to close various aspects of the business. And of course, that has a huge financial impact. And I could do nothing else because that's what was happening. There was just things that I could not show up for anymore in the same way. And it was this move to a new identity. Um, and I think there's maybe buds of that starting to form. But sometimes it feels there are so many pathways that I could go that in the past, choosing one and committing to it never felt as much as a problem as it suddenly feels right now. Um, and I think really I have been wanting my own clarity. I mean, I do this for everybody else. I mean, the amount of clarity that you're able to give to other people is phenomenal. My coaching has deepened, my insight has deepened, and yet I have felt quite frustrated personally that I haven't seen that way forward for myself yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a few things I heard in there, Angela, and if you could just bear with me for one moment, I will answer. Would you like me to answer, or are
Yes,
you
of course,
sharing?
absolutely.
Okay, so just bear with me 1 minute. I want to plug in. I've just seen that we have a battery issue. I just want to plug in and then I can answer you. Okay, thanks for your patience. I hope that's going to work. Okay. Well, I mean, wow. Like, I just feel like saying first, wow. In a year, all of that transformation is miraculous. It's really, really incredible, Angela. And not just because of what's happened, but because you've been able to actually embrace that, allow yourself to experience that deeper well-being, that new partner, that all of that. And I just speak to so many women who don't necessarily have any understanding of how the mind works, and there's none of that type of change you've just described. Sometimes when we're living it, it's just our norm. But I just want to take a moment to say, oh my goodness, you must have some really deep level of understanding that is supporting you, that I know life will want to use that and use you in due course, right? What you're experiencing, this transformation, the season you're in, is going to be used in due course. Now, our job is to be a little bit patient in the meantime. You're going to have to trust me on this one, that this has not been a season of clarity about business and serving other clients.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Oh,
Oops. And as much as we might get worried about the financials, oh my God, is it always going to be like this? But it used to be like that, and it's not like that anymore. We just really want to appreciate that there's a change occurring that is going to influence the business. You see, you can't show up and do what you used to do the way you used to do it anymore, because you've been through too much of a transformation for that. But I get it. It's kind of like, oh crap, but what do I do now? Well, you've got an incredible support system, and you want to keep yourself in that restful mode, knowing that you will be provided for, and you must ask. Don't be afraid to ask. Even if you don't ask, it's okay. But see, when I hear it's coming up to a year, you're feeling exhausted, you had the wisdom to come on today, it's like, I just want to say to you, oh, Angela, honey, just take care of yourself. This is such an important moment. Don't rush this moment. Really nurture you. Be there for you. And let others do the same. And you've made it this far, regardless of maybe a change in the business model. It can only increase your ability to support others, can only increase because of what you know, what you've seen, what you've been through. And it starts with feeling rested. It doesn't start with figuring out clearly what it is you're going to do. It starts with you filling up on you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my past default, and I could see it when I looked back on the book of my old life. It was just literally like closing a book and opening a new one. And the book of that life was filled with well, it was not filled with me. It was filled with making sure that everybody else was taken care of before me.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. It's bringing me home to myself, that any time that my mind has those questions, it's like, oh, time to sit, time to rest, time to sit back, time to come away from that thinking pattern, because there's nothing useful in that right now.
Mhm. You got it. Now you will receive your download and have your clarity, or you'll get some help around that.
Mm.
It just doesn't feel like the season for that right now.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't feel at all the season for big, bold moves in any way, shape, or form, which is interesting because I've shut everything down and gone towards consultancy, which feels the thing that I'd have thought I'd have not wanted to go back to. And actually, I mean, I dislocated my finger 3 weeks ago and ended up in hand surgery, and now I'm literally unable to drive for 4 weeks. And the irony about life forcing my hand has not been lost on me, of being at home and not having the capacity to race around. It's just interesting how my mind does that job quite well for me in the middle of the day. But thank you, because there has been a huge transformation. Sometimes I'm almost trying to feel as if I'm catching up, trying to catch my breath with it. There's been so much of it. And just to acknowledge that grounds me enough to sit in the reality of letting things unfold through rest. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. It was such a good share, like how many of us are so often just, frustrated with our path or where we are on the journey, and think we should be clearer and should know by now and should be, of great service. I mean, I used to say to myself, are you still crying? I mean, are we not over this yet? I could hear this harsh voice of, come on, hurry up and get this grieving thing over. And then I realized, Grace, you need to quieten down a little bit. Like that's not your true self talking. That's an impatient, frustrated voice that, just isn't giving any space to heal. But see, luckily, because of what we all understand, we catch that voice. Now, it doesn't matter how long it takes us. The beauty is we catch it. And in catching it, we can get suspicious of it. If it's not gentle, it's not your true self. And yet in your journey, Angela, I just hear like, oh my goodness, you've been on this incredible journey of transformation. Life's going to use that in due course. Life has been, just as life has been using me and other clients that I work with, you don't go through all this challenge and difficulty to then sit on the couch and not be used. But there's seasons of sitting on the couch and being in the season of change, of transformation, of healing, of grieving is very important. It precedes what you're about to do in the world. And you're just going to have to trust me on that. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I really hear that.
Good. Anybody else got a question here or a comment or anything they might like to share? Dorothy, lovely to have you. Come on, sweetheart.
Hi, Grace. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, great. I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere, so I'm not sure if this is gonna, it may cut out.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say thank you for showing up and for your such a warm and grounded clarity and speaking truth and how much that impacts me personally. Um, I'm going through something just so major right now. I've been trying to buy my house that my children have lived in for their whole lives from my ex, but he's keeps kind of saying he's going to sell it and then not, and like just trying to keep the engagement for months and months and months, actually over a year. And finally, I just said, forget it. This isn't working, and we're gonna just cut it and trust the universe and move forward. And it's such an incredible sense of freedom, and it's a little scary because I have no idea where we're gonna land, but it's actually such a liberation. And I've been tapping in and listening here and there, and it's been really supportive to listen to that voice and that excitement,
Yeah.
and be able to say, no, it's okay if you feel a little scared. It's okay. This is a completely fresh start.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I really have a question in there, but maybe just a real openness if anything comes to mind.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, Dorothy. I really appreciate that you shared something that's really, you know, poignant for you right now, and it is a big change. But what I hear in it is that you are willing to go downstream with this, that there's a relief in your letting go of any struggle or attachment to outcome or how it should go. And it's interesting, sometimes it's when we quote unquote give up the fight that actually wisdom has room to come in. Wisdom has room to guide a little more clearly. So I don't know what your direction might be, but it can only get better when we're not um, pushing up against a situation. And I hear a lot of grounding and trust in you, because I'm sure there's a lot of people around you saying, don't be ridiculous, or you shouldn't do that. You should really take this right to the end. And it's like, no, if it's costing you your peace, follow your wisdom here and see where this takes you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I really,
Yeah, Grace.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say what you're saying really resonates very deeply because on an external practical level, um, it doesn't make as much sense,
Yeah,
but it it's the only thing that makes sense.
yeah. Well,
I don't
well,
know if
your
that I don't know if that
yeah.
makes sense to hear, but
Well, it
yeah.
does. Your piece is letting you know you're on the right path here. Now, anything could happen from a place of peace, including renewed energy and clarity about best way forward.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel very open. Um, but it's exciting actually to just surrender is probably the word I would use.
Yeah, yeah.
And just that it's a very different thing than giving up.
That's
Although I mean giving up is not, there's nothing wrong with giving up. I don't want to get into semantics here, but for me the feeling is like just like a surrender.
yeah. You're going downstream instead of upstream, right?
Mm, yes,
And
right. That's a great metaphor.
yeah, just trust that. Just trust that. There's so much more available to us now that we are in that state of surrender. I love that word, actually. That's perfect for this. And these words come to mind. You know, God will pay you double for your trouble. So
Mm.
we never have to hold on to one particular path, because trust me, it always pays double if you've ended up having to, what I heard in your share was, it was feeling troubled. So
Yeah.
just be with this. Yeah. Trust this.
Mm,
Yeah. And see what comes.
perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, Dorothy. Lovely to see you.
Take care. Thank you.
Um, we're coming close to the end, but I really feel inspired to keep going here if there is another question. I see Amanda has her hand up. So if you're willing to hold on a few more minutes, friends, we could hear from Amanda as well. Hello, Amanda.
Hi, Grace. So good to see you. This is the first time I've been on one of these coaching calls, but I've done your program with Dominic.
Yeah.
It's lovely. I've been going through I feel like a huge transition time that feels like there's all of these things are just going through this transition period. And one of the big things is with work, my own personal work. One of the ladies shared before of, I feel like I've taken a step and gone, back to my accounting work, taking on more accounting work, and feeling like having a pause in my coaching business, and not completely stopping it, but just being okay with, I'm gonna, shift gears a little bit and allow myself just to have this moment, stepping into more of the accounting work again. And I don't know, yesterday I felt like I had some clarity around it, and maybe that will create some momentum going forward, having that pause and that shift.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what initiated, or what sort of instigated the pause, or the need for a pause?
Yeah, it was really financially, I felt like, okay, I need to go back. I want to go back to the accounting and allow more of the money to flow in from that, and just, yeah, and take that pause.
Yeah. Well, would money coming in from the accountancy section, would that also free your mind up a bit to look at your coaching now and then?
It may, and it is interesting because it's such a different part of the brain. So it may free something up in a different way. In the past, it's been, it feels like it takes up a lot of that brain power when I'm doing that kind of work. But of course, it doesn't mean the past doesn't have to, be the story of what's now. So it could be different.
Yeah. Well, look, it's hard to, it can be hard depending on your thinking, but it can be hard to be creative in your coaching business if your mind is worrying about money.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always a fan of, do whatever you need to do to take your mind off money and keep your eye on the business. Keep your eye on allowing space for your coaching business to grow. People think they need to be in their business all the time. They don't. You just need one or two good ideas. Divine downloads is what I like to call them. And you get one or two of those downloads, and you'd be amazed at what occurs. If you're not worrying about money, you're energetically a bit more open for your business. I might just encourage you to make space in your week where there's a tension going on your coaching business, because I don't know that you want to spend your life in accounting. You know, I think once we've touched this space of helping others, there's, you know, it's where we come alive, it's where we're called. So it's kind of, it's functional to go back to what you know, but it's also temporary, Amanda. And I would just look at it that way. This is temporary. It's giving me relief from thinking about money. Now, what am I going to do with that relief? I'm going to get creative. I'm going to receive my downloads. I'm going to keep myself energetically open for coaching clients. I'm going to find space in my day or my week that I might be open, available to speak with people, or to market myself, or to write blogs. It takes such little time, Amanda. You should see how little work I do. The majority of my work is done coaching clients. Everything else I could do in the space of 2 hours in a week. Now, I believe that's also because, you know, I don't have a lot of thinking going on about, oh my God, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to, and neither will you with your accountancy. I being energetically open for business, hearing guidance, asking your spiritual support for guidance. What's the idea? I remember when I birthed the idea for Living Miraculously, best-selling group program Dominic and I have ever had. I literally had nothing going on in my business. And I went to London for a few days. You probably heard that. And when I was in London, I'm just enjoying myself and energetically open. I don't have a lot of cash. I'm staying at someone's house. And I hear the words over and over and over again. You're living miraculously, Grace. This is a miracle, Grace. You're living miraculously. You're living, and it occurs to me, oh my God, that's a program. Mm-hmm. So let yourself be energetically open and know that this job is just serving a purpose, but ultimately you're going to be back in your coaching business.
Yeah, and it does feel like that. And it's a contract, so it definitely is short term. So I know there's an end in it, but that does make sense too, of just knowing energetically I'm still open for the coaching clients and receiving the ideas. I love that.
Yeah, because when you talked about a pause, if you had been telling me, you know, you're exhausted, you needed to take a break from this, it was just not inspiring, you need too much going on, and then I would be like, oh, okay, just stick with the accountancy. But that's not what's happening here. You're just having relief from thinking about money. Now, don't waste that relief. Stay open for business by, okay, I've got relief from thinking about money, and I'm going to make space here to enjoy receiving ideas for my coaching business. And if there's things I might need to do in my coaching business, even if it's an hour a week, I'm going to do that. You see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your presence today. And if something has resonated with you or spoken to you, you know, get in touch. I love to hear what your experience has been. I love to be able to be of any support. And right now, if you do want to go a bit deeper with me, I don't normally work on one-off sessions ever, but I have opened that up within our Living Miraculously program, and I'm also opening it up here for those of you on the coaching clinic today, or if you're hearing the replay. So until March 10th, you can book a private one-off coaching session with me. And just get in touch, gracefulcoaching@gmail.com, if you want to hear more about that or learn about that. And often, you know, that's an opportunity to explore a little more deeply your situation, be that practical pieces around a coaching business, or be that more of a softening around insecure thinking or any sort of voice that's holding you back from moving forward with your ideas. So thanks a lot for your presence today, and I'll see you next month for April's clinic. Lots of love, everybody. Take care. Bye.